We are keenly keeping an eye on that. But two arms of government may be on warpath as the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Babing, has expressed concerns over the Supreme Court's decision to hear the anti-LGBTQ cases. This view comes after the Supreme Court set July 17 to rule on two requests that it stops Parliament from transmitting the anti-LGBTQ bill to the presidency. My colleague, Lord Eduasare, has more.
Lead counsel for Dr. Odoi, Dr. Ernest Akon, argued in a statement of case that the Speaker of Parliament failed to ensure that a fiscal impact analysis was attached to the bill before passing it. He maintained that the House breached constitutional provisions and hence made the bill unconstitutional. He prayed the courts to injunct the bill from being sent to the President to be assented to, since, if approved, imposes a direct charge on public funds, violating Article 108. But counsel for the Speaker of Parliament, Thaddeus Sorry, disagreed. He prayed the court to dismiss the injunction since it sought to bring in another arm of government to interfere in the transmission of the bill, which had not yet been concluded. Attorney General Godfrey Ebuada may argue that every step taken by Parliament was null and void since the Speaker omitted the impact analysis.
This goal for the court to indeed determine whether the bill that is being sought to be, for want of better expression, rushed is in the public good or indeed affects the public purse. If the bill affects the public purse, then with all respect, the court owes a duty to halt the progress of that bill.
Counsel for Broadcast Journalist Richard Dalaskai, Pakwesi Abedu, noted that Parliament failed to adhere to the advice by the Attorney General in passing the anti-LGBTQ bill. He averred that there was a fundamental breach by the House and the Speaker in admitting the bill, hence prayed the courts to injunct the process. Getting to the tail end of the proceedings, counsel for the Speaker of Parliament, Thaddeus Sorry, indicated to the court that he had received new information that the actual opinion of the Speaker as well as the fiscal impact analysis document had been made available to him, and prayed the court that he would file it.
That came to me right after the court took a break. They found the Speaker's actual opinion and they found a fiscal impact analysis. I will create the court by tomorrow morning to file a supplementary, and that's those. I'll just attach them. That's all.
But Pakwesi Abedu was not pleased with his submission.
All I told myself was, God bless the Chief Justice when she took the position that this matter has been pending for over a year. And if indeed that controversial report, or that report which has remained the bane of controversy in court, was with them, why do you wait after arguments? Why do you wait after all has been said and done before you come out to say that such a bill existed? What were the researchers of Parliament doing, and what were his own researchers doing?
The case has since been adjourned to July 17, where the panel of justices will rule on the injunction application.
In Parliament, the Speaker, Alban Babing, says the court must only hear such cases when the bills are signed into law.
Please, let it be known that when it comes to lawmaking, until all the processes in this House are exhausted, there is no business for anybody, including the courts, to consider. Because the Constitution and the enabling legislation takes care of all these challenges. Until, if it is a law, it is assented to by the President, judiciary has no jurisdiction to try to pry into it. This is notice. We have to take this seriously, or else our legislative authority is being taken away from us by other agencies and arms of government that should be resisted by this House, or else your being here is of no consequence. The law is very clear on this. And so until a bill is assented to by the President, nobody has any business to take that process that is being considered by the House to the court. And I don't want to preempt the judgment of the Supreme Court in this matter. But I'm giving notice because on daily basis, I'm being served with writs as a party on matters that are being considered by the House. That's why I'm compelled to say this.
Meanwhile, private legal practitioner Justice Abdullahi says these tussles between the legislature and the judiciary will keep happening, but adds that it will go a long way to strengthen Ghana's democracy.
Our constitutional jurisprudence is clear that it is only the Parliament's procedures and its internal mechanisms are closed door to any other organ of the state. In other words, the kind of activities that go on in the House of Parliament, nobody can question it. Nobody has the right to open it up for discussion. But the end product of what Parliament does can indeed be questioned, which is why the Speaker is saying that in view of the fact that the bill has not matured into becoming an act of Parliament, it cannot be questioned by the Supreme Court or, for that matter, any other organ of the state, the executive inclusive. But unfortunately, when the matter goes to the court, notwithstanding all these, whatever we may call clear areas, the court still has a jurisdiction to inquire into the issues and determine whether or not they indeed have jurisdiction in order to be able to go in to determine the merits or summarily dismiss the action.
Pre-tertiary teacher unions have called on the Minister of Education to suspend the Free Senior High School bill and allow for broader consultations. According to the leadership of the unions, the Education Minister should focus on introducing an act to fund Free Senior High School instead of a law to legislate the policy. Daniel Opoku reports.
The pre-tertiary teacher unions recalled various education policies aimed at improving education in the country. The leadership of the unions emphasized the Anamwa education policy, which sought to improve senior high schools. They also cited Education Regulatory Bodies Act 2020, Act 1023, and the Pre-Tertiary Education Act 2020, Act 1049, both geared towards enhancing teaching and learning in the education sector. However, the unions were surprised that the current Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, intended to lay a free SHS Act in Parliament without consultation. The General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, Thomas Musa Tanko, asked the government to consider introducing a funding act instead of the free SHS bill. According to NAT, the government should also consider addressing challenges related to the capitation grants and other issues affecting the education sector.
I've heard people talk about suspension. No suspension. This law can be put aside for now. What we need now is funding for pre-tertiary education in Ghana. As we are talking about, school feeding is a problem. School feeding is a problem. And we are saying that feeding is to provide children with nutritious meals. So go and check the food they are eating. How can one city provide you with a nutritious what? This is just grammar. But you will not find it in the bowl.
The president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, Angel Kabonu, called on the Minister of Education to suspend the Free SHS Act and allow for broader consultations.
I want the president to stop sending any bill of this sort to Parliament. They should suspend it immediately and allow wider stakeholder engagement if they want to reform education. And we're also calling on the Parliamentary Select Committee to desist working on any such document that have been sent to them by the president. You know, now we have a case in this country where documents from Parliament can be stopped from going to the Parliament. I think Parliament can also have the ability of stopping president's document from coming to Parliament. But all that we are saying is that there is no wider stakeholder consultation. They have not solicited inputs from stakeholders, and we don't even know what is contained in the said bill.
The president of the Coalition of Concerned Teachers, Kenali Awudu, pleaded with the sector minister to engage with stakeholders.
We have the senior high school that the constitution says that after the basic education has been made free, that one should also be made free. And it has been done. So there are already constitutional provisions backing the free senior high school. And we also have the Pre-Tertiary Education Act. So if you want to bring in a free SHS bill, It is just good that you carry the stakeholders along. We are the people that should be speaking to the media today, defending it. But that is something we cannot do because we don't have an iota of idea about it.
President Akufo-Addo is asking Parliament to expeditiously confirm Deputy Energy Minister Herbert Krapa to become the Minister of State at the ministry. This appointment is coming as the substantive Energy Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, is set to be confirmed as the running mate for the new Patriotic Party flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Listen to Speaker of Parliament reading the request from the President to the House.
Request for prior approval of Minister of State designate. I trust this finds you well and in good spirits. I am writing to seek parliamentary approval for the appointment of Honorable Herbert Krapa as Minister of State at the Ministry of Energy in accordance with Article 78 of the Constitution. It has been the practice for some time for the Ministry of Energy to be populated by a substantive minister and 3 deputy ministers. In view of the exceptionally heavy workload now attendant at the ministry, it has become necessary to appoint a Minister of State at the ministry in the person of Honorable Herbert Krapa, who is currently a deputy minister. I would be extremely grateful if Parliament acts expeditiously on this request to enable the full complement of the ministers and deputy ministers to undertake their important functions as soon as possible.
The National Labour Commission has directed CLOGSAC to call off its strike immediately.
The leadership of the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, Ghana, CLOGSAC, failed to appear before the commission, claiming that the LNC is not properly constituted. This compelled the National Labour Commission to postpone hearing of the matter to next week. However, the National Labour Commission has indicated it will officially write to challenge the decision of CLOGSAC on the impropriety of the commission.
That 2 members shall be nominated by organized labor. And organized labor means all the non-labor unions coming together, right, under one umbrella, will nominate 2 people. And now you are rushing to Registrar General to go and see whether somebody has registered or not. It's a frivolity. We are writing to them in response to the objection they have raised and ask them to submit to the commission.
The Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission, Ofosu Asamoah, again called on CLOGSAC to call off a strike.
We will direct them to call off the strike because it's unfortunate. Why are they not here?
Deputy Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Dr. Festus Ewua, was concerned about the impact of the strike.
I think an MOU was signed somewhere last 2 years back then. So we need to meet on the round table and have the issues addressed. So they have a concern. Otherwise, we wouldn't have pended our signature on the MOU.
How have you considered the impact of the strike as we speak now?
It's not an action that any government will be very present with.
The Civil and Local Government Staff Association, Ghana, CLOGSAC, is demanding the implementation of a new salary structure for its members.
Time for us to talk health now. The Ghana Health Service has intensified its COVID-19 vaccination drive by rolling out another edition of the National Vaccination Exercise. The 5-day exercise, which starts on July 3, will end on July 7 in the various regions across the country. About 500,000 doses of vaccines are expected to be administered by the end of the exercise. Director Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Bequin, who confirmed the exercise to TV3, said the COVID-19 vaccination is already routinized at all health centers, but there is a need for the periodic intensification of the drive. The country is still recording cases of COVID-19, hence the need for all eligible persons to take advantage of the exercise to get their jab. Only Johnson & Johnson vaccines are being administered to the ongoing exercise. Residents of Baniakrom in the Ahafwano Southwest District of the Ashanti region are living in fear following the killing of 3 persons by a suspected fetish priest in the area. Osman Mujid is said to have shot the 3 persons over claims of attack on him by the deceased persons on Tuesday, July 2.
Exhibits retrieved from the crime scene include 1 motorbike, 8 spent cartridges, and 4 cutlasses, according to the police. The incident has shocked and put fear in residents. Though the police has commenced investigation into the incident, the residents say normalcy can return to the area only when the suspect is arrested.
He said,
the gun he used to kill the 3 persons is still with him. And since he is still at large, most residents are scared. School children and farmers use the same route to access their farms and schools. So we plead with the police to try and locate his whereabouts and arrest him.
The incident happened just about 100 or 200 meters close to an international school. So the children at home, they were traumatized as to what happened yesterday.
The busy town is quiet with only few people going about their daily activities. The deceased have been identified to be residents of Jakobu, a farming community close to Baniakrom. Assembly member for Baniakrom, Kingsley Asare, wants police presence in the community to prevent any form of reprisal.
I will still plead with the district commander, the regional commander who was here yesterday, and the IGP as well, so that at least 1 or 2 uniformed men should come down, up and down. I think that may deter another occurrence, because for all that we know, those that were murdered, he may also have a gang who may be coming for revenge, and if they do not get who they want, it may end up maybe victim an innocent person.
The police has urged members of the community to remain calm as investigation into the incident continues to get the perpetrator arrested to face justice. Bodies of the 3 deceased persons have since been conveyed to the morgue for preservation and autopsy. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Baniakrom, Ashanti region.
Away from that, you're welcome to your election command center. With just about 5 months until the general elections, political parties have committed to peaceful campaign ahead of the 2024 general election. The political parties made the commitment at the inauguration of a committee on the Code of Conduct on Vigilantism and Election Violence in the country.
The National Peace Council plays a crucial role in ensuring a peaceful electoral process, mediating conflicts and promoting dialogue. From 298 cases in January to 703 by July 2, the National Peace Council says it is now overloaded.
In terms of our burdening, yes. One would have expected that these cases will come down. But much as we try to reduce it, others are also coming up. And especially the issues of land and chieftaincy has become a major issue, and the issue of identity in this country. These are critical issues confronting us.
More work requires substantial financial and human resources, something the council is in dire need of.
At our meeting with our regional secretaries, they were all complaining that they are overburdened. There's a need for more resource and a need for more personnel to do the work, because the work is increasing.
So, what will it take for the council to effectively execute its elections-related activities?
For election-related activities, in dollar terms, we need $1 million to be able to execute all the things we want to do for the elections. We have a lot of engagements. We want to do engagements in all the 275 constituencies. We have mapped up our hotspots, and we are doing the best we can to minimize these activities in these hotspots. So we need a lot of resource to go into some of these areas, do the best we can to minimize the tensions that are being built up in those areas.
With the 2024 elections on the fast lane, the council says it remains resolute in its mission to mediate conflicts and promote dialogue among political parties.
Leadership of the National Democratic Congress has resolved to storm their Central constituency ahead of the 2024 general election. Despite recent setbacks originating from the failed withdrawal of Nurain Mijime's candidacy over anti-party allegations, the party officials say it is now more than ever poised to win the parliamentary seat. Director of Alternative Dispute Resolution, Abraham Amaleba, says the party must now convince constituents that Mijima remains the right candidate for the constituency.
The functional executive of the party took a decision to suspend the regional chairman of the NDC. We felt that he took a decision that was inimical to the party. It was not within his rights to, as it were, suspend or withdraw the candidature of the PC. There was no video of the PC in a compromised position with a lady. They couldn't provide that. And once you didn't have that type of video, it was wrong for you to go on air and say the PC was engaged in some sexual episodes.
Is there any lesson the party is learning?
The lessons that should be learned is what regional executives should know, what their powers are and what their powers are not. We noticed that the regional executives in the central region boxed above their weight. And this is all because they fail to understand or appreciate the laws governing the NDC as a political party. And so we may have to intensify our education or have some more orientation, because we've already had some orientation. But if this is happening, I think that we need to intensify our orientation of the regional executives.
The happenings in Asin Central put the spotlight on the constituency. Now, will the NDC have an ADOS tax in the Asin Central constituency going into the elections, coming on the back of the happenings there?
The Asin Central constituency is a winnable constituency. If you check the last results, we nearly won that seat. But for Kenija Dapon's dexterity, it was a seat that was within reach. What are we going to do? We have decided that we would go into that constituency and explain to the people, meet the chiefs, meet the opinion leaders, meet the youth in the constituency to let them understand that the information that they heard about the PC is not true, and that these are all cooked up, and that we think that the PC is the right candidate for the constituency.
Will it affect your chances anyhow?
The chances will be affected if we don't do the things that I'm saying that we'll do. And at FEC meeting yesterday, we resolved that we will be going into the constituency. The party chairman will be there. We will have an entry into the constituency. The big wigs will all enter into the constituency and ensure that we dispel the notion that the PC was engaged in something untoward. So that is part of the program lineup to enter into the constituency.
A report there by Noble Crosby Annan. Residents of La community say they will stage weekly demonstrations until President Nana Addo Dankwa-Akufo-Addo administration returned lands that has been allegedly encroached upon by private developers. They say the land encroachments have robbed the local community of vital public spaces and resources. Frederick Kunzo-Tiani has more in the flow report.
There has been an ongoing dispute between the military and residents of La over an alleged encroachment of 114 acres of land at the Kulecho site at the Burma camp catchment area. The residents have even protested against the military, calling for the release of their land. Speaking to TV3 during the Community Manifesto series, residents called for the return of their land.
The government has already refused to give us the land, so the demonstrations are going to start. And like I said, by the end of this month, specifically from the 31st of July, we are going to start our demonstrations. And it is going to happen every fortnight till the 4th of December, where we believe that government would have given the lands back to us.
Going into the December 7 elections, electorates say their vote will be informed by some key issues which are of concern to them. Access to health care in the constituency has been a challenge after the La General Hospital was demolished for reconstruction. Residents say they are not pleased with the pace of work.
Mr. President, do you know the number of people who have died in La without you making any attempts to complete the La General Hospital?
When there's a good health and there's life, you can achieve more. First of all, we need our hospital to rebuild, or in anyhow the government can manage. At least from this year to next year, we should have our clinic back. Because I tell you, my brother, because of this clinic, we have lost a lot of souls in La.
The residents further called for a halt of the sale of 60% stake in 4 Social Security and National Insurance Trust hotels to Rock City Hotel, owned by Agric Minister Brian Champon.
If today SNIT decides that they are going to sell those hotels, we are saying that you have not compensated us for our lands. And so we still need our land. Pick the hotels and go and sell them. But as for the lands, you cannot touch them.
Government is selling our properties without considering what would happen to us.
The National Pensions Regulatory Authority, NPRA, last week directed SNIT to suspend transactions towards the sale of 4 of its hotels to the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Brian Champon. According to the NPRA, the suspension will enable it to investigate the matter further.
Latest revelations in the ongoing SNIT Hotel sales saga has revealed the bidding process may have been skewed to favor the eventual winners, Rock City Hotels Limited. Advised by the transaction advisor, Sem Capital, to the board of SNIT raises among many concerns questions about the ability of Rock City Hotels to see through a payment structure. The transaction advisor, Sem Capital, wants SNIT to insist on full payment by Rock City to avoid any potential risk. Let me walk you through the details from the latest document, and it indicates that the SNIT Hotel sales, which is the Rock City new offer, cash payment of $30.8 million, which involves $10 million for full payment of Lot 2 and also $2 million for part payment of Lot 1, and Lot 1 balance to be paid in installment. Also, the tenure of 24 months, and that is, the span of time that has been given for the payment to be made. We also have the semi-annual installment payment with no interest rate. For more on this and other stories, kindly log on to 3news.com. My name is Godwin Asideba. Thank you so much for making me a part of your time this morning. The show continues shortly with Roland Walker and Nashoko. Stay with us and have a good morning. Bye.